I'm Margaret Lambert, the mother of 3 living sons, aka Mrs. Lambert version 2.0. My mother-in-law Mabel was version 1.0 and also the mother of 3 sons. I married her middle child.
I am Sonya Price Lambert. I am the mother of 3 sons and am married to her baby boy. I am version 3.0.
During pregnancy, I could not splurge on maternity underwear, so I wore my husband's jockey shorts and would never dream of exposing a bare belly. When sleep became a problem for me, my beloved OB doctor suggested I drink a beer to relax before bedtime.
My peer group supported bikinis at the beach with their baby bumps. While I was pregnant, I heeded the warnings. Don't eat fish, processed foods, don't drink alcohol.
Labor was a real scream. We were given inhalers of scopolamine strapped to our wrists, so that when a pain hit, we placed this device over our nose and mouth. And when we passed out, our arm would fall away, removing it until the next contraction. The only males allowed in the delivery room were the doctor and baby boys. I was in the hospital 5 to 7 days routinely, basking with the sun lamp between my legs to ease the pain of my episiotomies.
While my husband was allowed in the delivery room, the sight of my internal organs lying on the table was more than he wanted to see.
Our first nursery was a powder room in our rented apartment. It was a space just big enough for the baby and my own small old chest of drawers I had antiqued. We could not open the drawers without standing beside the chest.
My boys had matching Ragazzi Italian furniture with an unnecessary playroom next to their suite that included a full-time nanny. Mrs. Lambert, version 2.0, translated the word Ragazzi for me later in life. It meant something like inappropriate funding.
Once the baby booties were outgrown, they had to have white stride-ride high tops, which not only busted our 1960s budget, but had to be polished every time they were worn and the shoelaces bleached. When I took the 3rd child for his 1-year picture, I crammed his uncooperative little foot into the stiff high-top shoes and could not understand why he was so fussy all day. When the photographer removed his shoes for some barefoot shots, his right little toe was bent sideways and had turned purple. He breathed a huge sigh of relief, and I kept a wary eye out for the DCS workers.
Speaking of DCS, my youngest broke his arm at the age of 4, after bedtime, in his room, alone. At the ER, he told triage, "Mommy pushed me."
I had the opportunity. Go ahead.
I had the opportunity to become acquainted with several authorities that night.
We were cautioned never to lay a baby on his back. Always lay them on their stomach, so if they spit up, they wouldn't choke.
Of course, I was told to never lay my babies on their stomach, but to lay them on their backs to avoid SIDS.
Teething pain and diarrhea were soothed by rubbing paregoric on their gums or giving a small amount in the evaporated milk and Caro syrup formula for diarrhea. We had to sign for it at the drugstore, never realizing it was tincture of opium. No wonder it works so well.
I gave our kids the homeopathic version, ice.
Seatbelts were not yet in existence, so once the baby outgrew the canvas sling car seat, he was thrown in the back seat with his brothers bouncing around like ping pong balls.
We had 4 different styles of restraints by the time the boys were 4. I gave lessons to younger moms in my neighborhood on how to strap down a kid in 23 seconds flat.
I loved the panel portraits for babies, but I had to settle for the black and white 59-cent pixie poses. And color pictures on milestone birthdays obtained with an Olin Mills coupon. There were lots of photos of baby number 1, not so many of number 2, and number 3 was just an afterthought included in group shots.
I had panel portraits taken of my twins by a very fancy photographer. There was a viewing, a slideshow, wine, and music. This was translated in the same manner as my Ragazzi furniture. Baby number 3 had quarterly pictures at Babies R Us.
Dads were merely onlookers who seldom participated in the care and feeding of children until they turned 18.
My husband changed the first diaper in the hospital before I did. He was so slow, my father-in-law asked if he was getting paid by the hour.
The teenage years were a trial and error period with plenty of both, between broken hearts, broken rules, and the only bathroom urinal in the neighborhood, assorted jalopies, and male puberty. It was a period of endurance and patience. Good luck, Sonya. I'm only a phone call and a bottle of wine away.
I have just entered the teenage years of mothering, but no matter how the times have changed and may change again for Mrs. Lambert 4.0, the unconditional love, loyalty, and acceptance by mothers remains eternally unchanged.
Good luck to Mrs. Lambert's versions 4.0 and beyond. We have done our best to raise good husbands and fathers for future generations. Nevertheless, listen to your mother-in-law.